The battle, the warrior hero of the Kazakh steppe, stance of the crossroad, and history of myth. For centuries they have embodied the value of courage, loyalty and sacrifice. In the 18th century, when the Kazakh Khanate faced existential threats from the Jungar Khanate and pressure from both the Qing and Russian empires, battles released the people to defend the land. Today the memory remains remarkably recent, carefully maintained in textbooks, dramatized in films and materialized in museums. Our question is, why do battles remain so central and how are they reinterpreted today across institutions of memory?
Battles have long functioned as instruments of identity building, binding together fractured tribes through stories of collective resistance. Textbooks like History of Kazakhstan highlight Bogdanbay Batur, who led Kazakh forces at the decisive Battle of Narakay near Lake Balkhash. His leadership is remembered not just as a military skill, but as a symbol of unity reflected in the saying, "The land united by Bogdanbay will never fall." Kabanbay Batur, the Hawk of the Steppe, is said to have fought in more than 100 battles defending his heritage and heritage. Rambek Batur became legendary at 17 when he killed the Jungar champion Sharish in combat. Koshabergan Batur, a contemporary of these figures, also played a decisive role. As a commander under Ablai Khan, he fought against the Jungars and the Manchu Qing Empire during the Kazakh-Chinese conflict. He was trusted as a Ablai's envoy to China and Russia, remembered both as a warrior and diplomat. His Shapan, preserved and passed down by descendants, was donated to the Military Historical Museum in 2018, symbolizing the endurance of his legacy. Chokan Valikhanov later observed the Batur is a conscience of the Kazakh. He represents their yearning for freedom. These stories confirm that Baturs function not only as military leaders, but also as a moral exemplar, shaping patriotic consciousness in modern classroom.
If textbooks cast battles as national role models, epics and museums reveal their mythological dimension. Oral literature such as Kablan the Batur turned the warrior into an archetype. His horse Tiberul could gallop 1,000 miles in a day, and his fort Karakulut shone with supranational force. These motifs reflect universal mythic structures: the chosen hero, the divine weapon, the fateful battle that sustained their appeal across centuries. Museums materialize these myths. The National Museum of Kazakhstan displays 18th century sabers with silver inlays, spears, and chainmail. A saber label reads, "Iron saber, late 70s, used in campaign along the Irtish frontier, directly linked to battles of Bagimbai or Kabambai." A composite bow of iron and sinew shows the cavalry's tactical age with a range over 200 meters. The thin Veritable records of 1757 describe Kazakh warriors in terms echoing epic poetry. Swift as the wind, their arrow darkens the sky. They vanish like spirits after striking. In this way, myth, artifacts, and external testimony converge. The batter is not only the hero of song, but also validated by enemy accounts and preserved through tangible objects.
The endurance of the Batur figure depends not only on myth and identity, but also on institutionalized practices of memory. Museums enshrine the Batur as part of an official canon. In the half years before 19th century, in Military Historical Museum of the Republic of Kazakhstan, portraits of Bagimbai Kubanbai Baturs are shown with replicas of their armor, presenting them as the founding heroes of Kazakh history. Schools support this canon by teaching their stories in textbooks like History of Kazakhstan, which includes battles such as Narakay, along with maps and illustrations that turn oral legends into structured lessons. Media then adapts these heroes for wider audiences. The film Nomad the Warrior recreates 18th century battles with cinematic spectacle, while the YouTube documentary Batur the Epic Hero of the Steppe retells their stories in a modern style for youngers. Later figures such as Kenisara Kasumov, leader of the uprising against Russian rule, are remembered as the last Batur, showing how the archetype extended into the 19th century and remains a symbol of resistance today. Valikhanov once warned, "Without the tales of the Baturs, the Kazakh loses memory of his past, and with it the spirit of freedom." It is precisely through museums of schools and media that this forgetting is.
Each battle differs in era and role. Someone was fought with the Jungars, another army colonial, another embody mythical time, but also they together symbolize our national identity. In museums, battles are shown fought artifacts and portraits with careful labels, stressing authenticity and fixing them into an official canon. In media, however, the same figures are retold for emotional impact. The film Nomad, the Warrior 25-year, recreates the Battle of Narakau with spectacle, with YouTube documentary Batter, the epic hero of the steppe 2023 year, used rapid editing and dramatic narration to reach young audiences. Some see this contrast between canon and spectacle as a problem, while others view it complementary. We argue that this is where interaction, authenticity in museums, and dramatization in media is what keeps the battles resilient and meaningful for each and new generation.